Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 3 Minute Marketing, where we interview some of the world's leading experts and movers and shakers in terms of growth marketing across different channels. We talk about search, we talk about social, we talk about analytics. We bring it all together in crystallized 3 minute value bomb interview style pieces. I'm Chris Mechanic, your co-host, or one of your hosts / co-hosts here today. Here with me is Casey Armstrong, which I'm super excited to have Casey. Casey is like the quintessential guest here. He's a growth marketer. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's highly skilled. He's seen a lot of things. He started out on the agency side as an entrepreneur. Then he moved into his own information product, and that was acquired. And then he moved on to consult with some very, very impressive brands. Pantheon, I know you did some awesome things for, and currently with ShipBob. ShipBob is a leader in 3PL, third-party logistics. They help e-commerce companies basically, earn more margin by shipping more effectively. And I know that you've got some exciting things going on there. But super excited to have you, man. And I've got a great question for you.
Perfect. Thank you for having me, Chris.
All right. So your 3 minutes is going to start once the question ends, and I will get my little timer going so that you can, I'll give you little clues. But here's the question. A person like you, which has a vast skill set, has seen a vast number of industries from, I know you've spent a lot of time with e-commerce all the way to, B2B sales and more, or B2B tech. And one of the things that I think that you do brilliantly is take concepts that are working in one space and kind of reinvent and translate them into another. I know that a lot of brands right now are thinking about innovation. Obviously, it's top of mind. Everybody's under a lot of pressure to do more, better, faster, cheaper. And we often find ourselves just tweaking and testing, 1% lift here, but everybody wants that next game-changing idea. And I've seen you do that a couple different times. So I'm curious, like, how do you think about it? How do you when you approach an industry, how do you query your mental database and make these extrapolations and triangulations and come up with these ideas? And maybe if you could provide an example or two of either things that you've already done or are thinking about, that'd be great. And I'm going to start the timer right now.
Perfect. So appreciate the kind words. I think that, like you mentioned, understanding multiple channels and how they work is paramount for people to succeed. I know that's something I look for in everybody that I hire, that you do need to be great at, let's say, what you own or the channels you own, but you need to have understanding and an interest in others. For example, I think one of the biggest missed opportunities for many brands is like utilizing your PPC data to feed into like your SEO strategy. And that's not like a one-time thing. It's something you're doing all the time. I also think that people spread themselves too thin without doubling down or 10xing down on a channel that's working. And so I think especially to start, picking the right channel and prioritization is key. And so find a channel that you believe has a high floor, but also has an extremely high ceiling. And that ceiling will continue to grow over time. I think too often people chase the shiny penny because they think it's the next big thing, versus like, where are you most likely to have success? But again, that ceiling is extremely high. And so, like you mentioned, is taking stuff from other ideas. I agree. I think, I've been fortunate to work from direct response to e-commerce brands to a lot of it's B2B, and B2B is what I enjoy the most. An example there of something that I'm really proud of and I think worked well was I was consulting for a company called SignNow, and they're an electronic signature tool. But their founder, hats off to him, he actually launched the first online notarization tool. And he actually went so far to get it to work with legislation over in Virginia to get it approved and roll out that product. But the thing is, though, that didn't exist. It was creating something completely from scratch. And so if he said, "Hey, here's $1 million to go spend on like paid or SEO," I would have given him $1 million at the end of the month because there was zero search volume for that. But there is a huge pain point in that people did not really like the notarization options out there. But they weren't sure where to go. And so what we did is we actually created a Yelp for notaries because a lot of that data was already public. And so we were able to create a website that was generating hundreds of thousands of views within a couple of months for people searching for notaries in Los Angeles, notaries in California, notaries in, the Midwest. on one end of the spectrum, and the others was we were seeding it with reviews, and also we were helping rank a lot of these individuals, many of whom did not have a website. So I might search for like myself. So I search Casey Armstrong or Casey Armstrong Orange County or Casey Armstrong whatever it may be, and I find myself, and so I can claim my profile. And now I start using that as my own website. And so we're using that to help funnel. Is this B2C play with Yelp, and we're using that to funnel and create demand for our B2B product, of which there was a lot of demand, but nobody knew that this solution existed.
So that was awesome, Casey. I have so many more questions. We can continue riffing, but that is our 3 minutes is up. Let everybody know where they can find more about you or get in touch with you or ShipBob.
Yes, please come check us out, shipbob.com, the leading global fulfillment solution for direct-to-consumer brands. Happy to help. You can email me at carmstrong@shipbob.com or follow me on Twitter, which is @KCA.
They are very badass. We've looked at a lot, and they have some distinct competitive advantages. Check them out if you're in e-commerce.
Thank you.
And if you want to continue listening to Casey and I riff, there should be a link down below in the show notes. If not, just hit win@webmechanics.com. I will send you the notes as well as a whole bunch of other goodies. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.